webcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. My name is April Stevens from Ohio EPA. We will be starting our presentation in approximately 1 minute as we still have a few more folks logging on. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar, Get the Green Thumbs Up, Apply for an Encouraging Environmental Excellence Award. My name is April Stevens, and I am the supervisor of the Recycling and Sustainability Unit within the Division of Environmental and Financial Assistance here at Ohio EPA, and I will be moderating this morning's presentation. Today's speakers are Rachel Deininger and Jessica Dazel, environmental specialists on our team. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a few items to help you participate and engage with our presenters. On this slide, you will see an example screenshot of your attendee interface. You should see something that looks like this on your computer desktop on the right-hand side of your screen. For this presentation, you are listening in using your computer audio. If you're having sound issues or if the slides stop advancing, please try refreshing your browser. If that doesn't work, try logging off and logging back in. If you continue to have issues, please let us know in the Q&A pane by clicking on the question mark icon on the attendee interface, and one of our behind-the-scenes team members will try to assist you. Please feel free to also submit questions to the presenters using the questions pane. You may send your questions in at any time during the presentation. We will try our best to answer questions as they come in and during the Q&A portion. If we don't answer your questions during the Q&A portion, we'll reach out to you via email following today's webinar. You can click on the document icon to view included handouts. Handouts today include a PDF file of the PowerPoint slides used in today's presentation and the templates for each of the programs that we will cover. This webinar is being recorded, and you will receive a link to the recording in a follow-up email along with a link to a survey. The survey will appear once this webinar ends. We value your feedback and would greatly appreciate if you let us know how we are doing and let us know if there's anything we can do to further assist you. A certificate of attendance will also be emailed to you after the session. And with that, I will now turn the mic over to Rachel to get us started.
Thanks, April, and good morning, everyone. All right, I'm going to start off by going over the agenda. So on the agenda for today, we'll go over the Encouraging Environmental Excellence, Encouraging Environmental Excellence in Education, and the Encouraging Environmental Excellence in Communities award programs. We'll also go over how to access and fill out the award applications, and then answer questions at the very end of the session. So as alluded to in our agenda, there are 3 categories of the Encouraging Environmental Excellence Award Program. There's the Encouraging Environmental Excellence, or E3 Award Program, that we like to refer to as E3 Classic, that recognizes businesses, nonprofits, universities, and other organizations. We also have the Encouraging Environmental Excellence in Communities, or E3C Award Program, that is open to communities and local governments. And last but certainly not least, we have the Encouraging Environmental Excellence in Education Award Program that recognizes K-12 public and private schools. So we have avenues for many different types of organizations to receive recognition. At the bottom of the page there, you can also see a link where you can go to find out more about the award program. Now we'll take a deeper dive into the award programs. I'm going to start by providing an overview of the E3 award program, and then later on, Jess will talk about E4 and E3C. To start off, the goal of the E3 award program is to recognize organizations for their environmental stewardship efforts that go beyond regulatory requirements. This category of the award program is open to businesses, nonprofits, colleges, trade associations, and other organizations. The application cycle for recognition in 2024 is currently open and will close on April 30th. This deadline applies to the entire award program. And if you want us to provide feedback on your application before you submit it, we also do review draft applications. And then off on the right here, you can see the Ohio EPA team that runs the award program and an example of an E3 flag that award winners can receive. So what can you find in an E3 award application? In the E3 award application, we ask about the applicant's activities in 15 environmental stewardship categories, including pollution prevention, energy efficiency, recycling programs, and renewable energy, just to name a few. For those looking to receive the platinum level of the award, we also request information about 6 additional community and regional sustainability criteria. There are 4 levels of the award that an organization can receive: achievement, silver, gold, and platinum. In general, to receive an achievement level award, we look for applicants to excel in one of the categories and to be making progress in several others. For silver, we look for the applicants to excel in 5 of the categories. For gold, we look for the applicants to score well in 12 of the categories. And then platinum is similar to gold. However, platinum applicants need to also be doing well in the community and regional sustainability criteria. And these numbers aren't necessarily set in stone. They're more of a guideline for us, and there is leeway with the scoring system, especially if an organization is doing spectacular work in one of the categories, but if they're unable to meet some of the other criteria just due to the nature of their business. Applicants can also reapply for the award, so if you make improvements in the future and you want to seek additional recognition, we encourage you to reapply. When evaluating E3 applications, we also conduct a compliance check prior to giving awards. So we do require that all E3 applicants be in good compliance standing for a minimum of 1 year prior to issuing an E3 award. Here's a look at the environmental stewardship criteria. As you can see, there's a range of activities an organization can participate in to get an award. To get full credit for these criteria, we look for applicants to provide a comprehensive explanation of how their organization is engaging in the criteria and for them to provide quantifiable data where applicable. So, for example, an organization would score well in the energy efficiency category if they've added energy efficient lighting or automated systems or reduced idling times and then calculated the kilowatt hours of energy saved from those modifications. If you're unsure about whether the activities your organization is partaking in fit well within the criteria, just give us a call or an email and we'll walk you through the application and help you identify what your organization is doing that fits in these areas. Now I'll run through a few examples of some behaviors that could count towards some of our most popular categories. So one of our categories focuses on recycling programs. Activities that an organization could participate in that would fit within this category could include recycling items like cardboard, just general office recycling, or if the organization is finding ways to recycle materials from different processes. Another category we assess is energy efficiency. Activities that an organization could participate in to address this might include having LED lighting or occupancy sensors, or having a compressed air leak detection program. Pollution prevention is another category that we ask about. Activities that fall within this category could include electrifying forklifts and equipment, replacing solvents or processed materials with less harmful alternatives, or potentially improving wastewater filtration and reclamation. In addition to some of our more nitty-gritty criteria, we also consider the infrastructure for environmental stewardship created by an organization. For example, one of our categories considers an organization's management commitment to environmental stewardship. This could be shown through having written sustainability goals or offering staff incentives for adoption of environmental stewardship practices. We also look at employee involvement in environmental stewardship. This could include having green teams with employee participation, providing opportunities for employees to provide feedback on environmental stewardship practices, and training employees on environmental stewardship best practices. So what will you receive as an E3 award winner? Well, the award benefits vary a bit by level of the award you receive. Achievement level award winners receive a certificate signed by the director, a listing on our website, and a decal with an E3 logo. Silver and gold level award winners receive a certificate, a listing on our website, an E3 flag to hang at their location, and mentions in the news release highlighting environmental stewardship efforts. Platinum level award winners receive the same benefits as the silver and gold level award winners, but can also get a site visit from the director and recognition in an awards ceremony or recognition event. So why should your organization apply for an E3 award? First, receiving an E3 award shows your organization's values. It exemplifies that your organization is dedicated to environmental stewardship. Additionally, receiving an E3 award can provide validation to staff who work diligently to make environmental stewardship goals a reality. Often creating a workplace that values environmental stewardship involves hard work from staff at all levels within an organization, and an E3 award can be a great way to congratulate staff for their efforts. Applying for an E3 award can also be a good way to build a connection with Ohio EPA and can open the door for further opportunities to collaborate. For example, we are working with several of our past award winners as part of a US EPA pollution prevention grant by further assisting them in their environmental stewardship journeys at no cost to them. The E3 award is also the only award program offered by Ohio EPA, and we want to recognize you for your efforts and give you a green thumbs up. We also love to hear all the innovative ways your organizations have found to incorporate environmental stewardship into your operations. This helps us keep up to date on environmental stewardship trends and innovations and helps us better assist organizations with their P2 journeys. Lastly, your organization should apply for an award because applying is pretty simple, as you'll see later on in the presentation. To help you draft your application, we have an application template that's available for each of the award program categories. So here's an example of what the E3 template looks like. This can be found on the E3 webpage and also in the handout section for today's webinar. This can serve as a great draft workspace, and we encourage applicants to share this among their organization and brainstorm using this, but we do require all of our applications to be submitted through the Resource Hub. And that wraps up the E3 portion of today's presentation. As a reminder, we will be taking some time at the end of the session to answer questions submitted during the webinar. If you have additional questions, please feel free to email me at the email address provided above. And now I'll pass the presentation off to Jessica Dalzell, who will be talking about E4 and E3C.
Thanks, Rach, and good morning, everybody. My name is Jessica Dalzell, and like Rachel said, I'm going to start out by sharing some information on our Encouraging Environmental Excellence in Education program. Ohio EPA created the E4 program to recognize the sustainability efforts being done in K through 12 schools in Ohio. We built the program to recognize both top-down initiatives, which are promoted by the administration and higher ups, and student-led programs as well. The award program's scoring focuses on the 3 R's, which are reduce, reuse, and recycle, and I'll get more into that later on. Schools are awarded one of 3 recognition classes based on their successes and achievements. The lowest level is achievement, next is silver, and the highest is gold. And I would just like to reiterate that this program is open to both public and private schools. Before we dive into what is in the application, I want to tell you a little bit about why your school should apply. Awardees will receive a certificate congratulating their efforts signed by our director of Ohio EPA, a summary of the school's accomplishments posted to our website, and a news release, a window sticker decal, and an E4 flag like you can see in the picture there. In 2023, we restarted our in-person award ceremonies to recognize your achievements in front of colleagues, peers, and news outlets as well. And if your school has a rivalry with another school, this could be a great way to prove that your school is the best. Now on to what the application is looking for. As I mentioned before, the application focuses primarily on the 3 R's. Again, that's reduce, reuse, and recycle. The award level that schools received is earned by the depth of involvement in each of the 3 Rs. The achievement level awardees are showing success in any one of the 3 R categories. Silver level awardees are succeeding at 2 of the R categories and also will demonstrate that environmental education and stewardship is interdisciplinary across all of the grade levels. And gold level schools demonstrate exceptional achievements in all 3 of the Rs while also having a curriculum that incorporates environmental education. We also look for student-led initiatives and community involvement for our gold level recipients. Excuse me. Within the application, we prioritize commitment to student involvement throughout the questions, and we recommend focusing your answers on how your students participate in the projects. So this obviously varies significantly based on the age of the students within your school, but having students take the lead as they are able is always exciting to see within your application. So for example, we had an E4 winner that was a K-3 elementary school, and the 3rd graders were in charge of collecting the recycling from each class. So they were able to spearhead the project and keep an eye on any contamination and issues with the recycling on the day-to-day collection, which was neat. We also prioritize environmental education and like to see it incorporated into the school curriculum. And this can be done in multiple ways. So you could offer supplemental classes such as an environmental science class, but you can also incorporate critical thinking and problem solving about sustainability into other classes. We also have seen schools with optional after-school field trips focusing on science and engineering, or for example, a 2023 awardee took their students on a field trip to the landfill to learn about the waste process. We also look for engagement within the community outside of the school. So how is your school connecting with the community around it? For example, maybe your school operates a garden and that produce is donated to a local shelter. There we go, sorry. Recycling is often the first R that schools are able to participate in. We know that recycling is usually the gateway into sustainability. And we love to hear about student-led recycling programs, e-waste collection days for the community, or how you've implemented recycling at school events like basketball games or school plays. One awardee from our 2023 class even broadcasted weekly Recycle Right messaging through their morning announcements, and we thought that was a great example of teaching kids about recycling. The Reduce category offers opportunities for reduction in waste, energy use, and water use. Reducing waste can be done by going paperless in classrooms, using reusable trays and silverware in the cafeteria, or halting the sale of single-use water bottles at your school. We know that several schools who are on the webinar today either have received or applied for a water bottle refilling station grant from our team. And this is a great way to reduce single-use water bottle consumption at your school. So please feel free to include that in your application if you're one of those schools. Or if you have a water bottle refilling station that we did not fund as well, that's great to include. In terms of energy reduction, we have had awardees ranging from solar-powered facilities to awardees that have recently retrofitted their lighting to LEDs as well. Reuse is about finding a new way to use a waste material or byproduct instead of throwing it away, such as collecting food scraps and making compost for a school garden. Recent awardees have included great reuse examples in their application, such as a clothing swap for students in the community, or a sports equipment swap for athletes in the community. You can access a Microsoft Word version of the application through the Handouts tab on our webinar today, or through our website, which that link is included in the chat as well. This outline document can be a great workspace to build your application and brainstorm with your colleagues. We always recommend passing it around to all of the teachers, administrators, and any other folks you think that are involved in promoting sustainability at your school. We know that that's how you can build the strongest possible application. Though this document will help you put together an application that encompasses all of the great work that's taking place, it is not the final application. You will have to apply online, and Rachel will cover how to go about submitting the final application toward the end of the webinar today. And again, just to reiterate, you have to submit through the online portal to be considered. And again, Rachel will cover that at the end. And now on to Ohio EPA's Encouraging Environmental Excellence in Communities Award Program. Ohio EPA seeks to recognize Ohio communities and local government entities for their sustainability stewardship. We know a lot of sustainability work is community driven and occurs on a local level, so we would love to recognize your community as a whole. The goal of this program is to encourage communities to reduce the impact of development on the environment beyond measures required by any permit or rule, which leads to producing a better environment, conserving natural resources, creating an equitable community, and resulting in long-term economic benefits. The Encouraging Environmental Excellence in Communities Award Program acknowledges the importance of the 3 pillars of sustainable development, which are economic sustainability, environmental sustainability, and social sustainability. Because of this, all 3 pillars are accounted for within the program, and we'll go over that in just a moment. All right, and so again, on the left-hand side, you can see our template here. If you have really great eyes, maybe you can see some of the examples, but again, that template is in the handouts tab and at the link I provided in the chat. Applications are evaluated using criteria from each of the 3 pillars of sustainability that I just mentioned, and each category includes a list of example projects or action items, as well as an option to add additional projects related to the topic, and I'll go deeper into that in just a minute. The application is set up in a checklist format, so you'll go through and check each of the programs or projects that your community qualifies for. And then towards the end of the application, it will ask you to go into further explanation of each of those projects, providing examples and explanation of what your community has done. Again, the application draft template on the left is available on our website or in the handouts tab, and it's a great tool for brainstorming among your peers and colleagues, just like the E4 template. But again, you are not able to submit this as your final application. That must be done through the online portal. And just like E4 and E3, application deadline for the 2024 cycle is April 30th. So please start working on those applications if you have not already. The E3C program has 3 levels of recognition as well. Applicants are awarded the respective level based on the number of action items they accomplish in each of the 3 categories. So again, that's environmental, social, and economic sustainability. All communities recognized for E3C will be listed on our webpage. You'll receive a certificate from the director of Ohio EPA. You'll receive decals with the E3C logo, an E3C flag, and then our gold winners receive a street sign pictured there on the bottom right. And you can place those publicly to let your community members or visitors know that you are exemplifying great environmental stewardship in your community. Like I mentioned before, we will have an in-person award ceremony to recognize your community in front of peers and the press. So it's a great way to get some recognition to your community as well. I just want to note that all applicants must be in environmental compliance with laws and regulations prior to receiving recognition. So we'll do a compliance check to make sure that you have no outstanding violations before recognizing you publicly. The first category on the application is environmental sustainability, and it has more than 30 projects and initiatives focusing on measures to reduce waste and efficiently use resources. This category includes action items like water conservation, recycling, reducing the generation of waste, and incorporating green infrastructure. Projects that would qualify in the environmental sustainability category include developing a community composting program, providing curbside recycling for residents, reducing waste at community facilities, and hosting household hazardous waste collection events. The transition away from fossil fuels is also included in the environmental sustainability category, and projects like converting city fleet vehicles to electric or natural gas, or implementing anti-idling policies also qualify. Additional examples of reducing greenhouse gas emissions can include utilizing purchased or generated renewable energy, retrofitting lighting throughout the community facilities, or maintaining a zoning code that encourages renewable energy installation. The environmental category also focuses on wildlife and ecosystem conservation. So example projects could include being a participant of the Arbor Day Foundation's Tree City USA program, implementing a watershed protection plan, or utilizing a sustainable integrated pest management plan. The economic sustainability category is much smaller than the environmental category, and it only lists 8 action items, but it also includes the option to add projects that are not already listed. Economic activities demonstrate cost savings through reducing environmental impacts and increasing social benefits. These action items include community-based energy efficiency programs, sourcing local or regional energy, and encouraging infill or brownfield development. Projects that would qualify under the economic sustainability section include supporting a buy local program, hosting local farmers markets, implementing a PACE financing program for residential or commercial buildings, and maintaining an internal green revolving fund for environmental projects. The social sustainability category has 12 action items and allows the applicant to list any additional social sustainability projects, just like the other 2 categories. Social activities involve community members and support community engagement, equity, and well-being. This category touches on community outreach for environmental issues, publishing environmental progress reports, encouraging carpooling, and encouraging multimodal transportation, implementing a program to address food security, and more. This category includes action items such as hosting community litter cleanups, maintaining public space for gardens, encouraging programs that reduce single occupancy vehicles, encouraging multimodal transportation, and having a community sustainability team or committee. That is all I'm going to cover today on both E4 and E3C, but if you have any questions or would like to schedule a meeting to discuss the potential for either of these programs for your community or school, please feel free to email me. Additionally, this presentation is PDF'd in the handouts, so please feel free to use it as a reference as you go through filling out your application. And we are also still accepting questions from the audience through the questions pane. So we will have a Q&A right after Rachel covers how to go about the application process.
All right, thanks, Jess, and hello again. All right, now I'm going to go over how you can actually apply for recognition. There are several ways you can access the Resource Hub where the application lives. The first way to access the application starts through the link to the Encouraging Environmental Excellence webpage on the slide above. If you follow that link, it'll take you to the landing page for the award program. From there, you can click a tile at the bottom of the page that will take you to the information page for whichever category of the award you're interested in. On each of the award program web pages, you'll see a button like the one being pointed to that will take you to our Resource Hub where the award program application is completed. You can also access the Resource Hub from the bottom of any Ohio EPA webpage. We recommend using Chrome, Firefox, or Microsoft Edge while you're filling out your application. Internet Explorer is not compatible with the online application. Once you've made it to the Resource Hub, you'll see an option to submit an application towards the top of your screen. You'll want to click on this option. Then after you've selected to submit an application, you'll be taken to this login page. If you've applied for an award before, or if you've used the Resource Hub to apply for grants, you should be able to log in here. If you don't remember your login info, you can select the Forgot Your Username or Password option to reset your information. If you don't have an account yet, you'll need to click the Sign Up button and create an account. Once you've successfully created or signed into your account, you'll be taken to the Submit a Grant or another type of application page. To apply for any of the award program categories, you'll want to click on the link for the Encouraging Environmental Excellence Award Program. Next, you'll be prompted to fill out your contact information. Some of this information may pre-populate if you've already submitted an application before, so you want to make sure to look over this and make sure everything is correct. After that, you'll be taken to this applicant type screen. This screen asks what type of organization the applicant is. It's important that you select the correct option here, as the response here will determine the type of application questions you are presented with. So for an example, an individual applying for recognition for their school would select education and then be presented with questions for the Encouraging Environmental Excellence in Education Award Program. Next, you'll be prompted to fill out the information about the organization applying for the award. And then once you've filled out the organization's contact information, you'll be taken to this introduction page, which will briefly discuss the application. On the next page, you'll be shown a preview of the questions asked in the application. And throughout the next couple screens, you'll provide your responses to the questions about your organization's participation in the different criteria evaluated. Once you've provided your responses to the detailed questions, you'll be taken to the attachments screen. Here you can add supplemental files or images that you believe help support your organization's application. Also new as of this year, we are requiring applicants provide their organization's logos. We used to have to track down applicants' logos after the fact, which was really time consuming. Now, after we made award decisions, we'll have access to the logos of the future award winners right away, and we can use them on social media and to highlight our award winners. So to the right of the screen here is a LinkedIn post from Ohio EPA highlighting the 2023 E3 award winners. So this is a good example of what we'll be using that logo for. After you've provided your attachments, you'll be taken to the Submit an Application screen, where you'll certify that the information is accurate and that you're authorized to apply for your organization, and then you'll sign the application. And lastly, you'll be taken to these closing screens where you'll have the option to review a draft of your application and then submit your final application form. And that wraps up my walkthrough of the E3 application process.
Great. Thank you, Rachel and Jessica, for that great presentation. We are now going to get started on some questions that were submitted during today's presentation. So as a reminder, you can still submit questions through the questions pane. We'll do our best to answer as many questions as possible. If we don't get to your question, we'll reach out to you via email following today's webinar. Let's start real quick. Let's go over the timeline again. When can people apply for Encouraging Environmental Excellence?
Oh, sorry, we're popping on camera real quick here just so you can get familiar with our faces and put some, names to faces and all that good stuff. So you can apply right now. The award is actually open for the 2024 award cycle. That'll close April 30th. So yeah, apply now, apply whenever you're ready.
Wonderful, thank you.
I'll just add on to Rachel's answer there. We do accept applications at any time, but if you are looking to be recognized for the 2024 class, you'll need to submit by April 30th. Otherwise, you'll be bumped to 2025. So just note that if you're feeling extra frisky this coming fall, you're welcome to go ahead and submit. But again, you won't be recognized until the following year.
Wonderful, thank you. And let's talk about drafts. Can you, I think we went over this a little bit, but if someone wants you to review a draft application, will you guys review draft applications?
Yes, we love reviewing draft applications. That's a great way for to get feedback and to see where there's additional opportunity for you to score a little higher. We are looking to have draft applications roughly by April 15th. That's not like a hard and set date or anything, but that will give us opportunity to provide quality feedback so you have time to incorporate it into your application.
Fantastic. Okay, here's another one that just came in. If you're submitting an environmental excellence application for the first time, is it okay to leave some sections blank if you're not currently have those types of programs in place?
Absolutely.
Or should, oh, sorry.
Go
Or they
ahead.
write something in there like no program related, or, should they indicate that they're not doing that or just leave it blank?
You can put an A or leave it blank. We don't expect organizations to be doing activities in 15 different categories if you're not, so it's totally fine to leave some sections blank or put NA.
Great. How does the application work? Like we have a question about if you have to complete it all in one sitting or if you can save it and go back and work on it. Maybe we can talk a little bit about how the online application works.
So you can save the application as you're working through it. So if you don't finish filling that out all in one go, that's fine. You can save and return. Again, we do offer the templates of the application, so we think that that's a really good working space and draft space. So we'd actually recommend filling out that first and then going and taking your answers and putting them in the online application. That kind of just makes things a bit easier. But yeah, while you're working through the application, you can definitely save and pick that back up again.
Wonderful. And while we're talking about that, maybe we can talk about, again, where we submit. It might be good to just go over that one last time of where people go to start the application.
Yep, so to start the application, you'll want to look in the resource hub for that. In the handouts for the presentation, you'll see a PDF of this presentation, and that can kind of like walk you through where to go find that after this if you forget. But yeah, the resource hub is where the application lives, so you can go and go to the bottom of any Ohio EPA website, and you should be able to find a link to access that. And again, links to that are throughout the presentation as well. And then on each of the program web pages, there's a button that says launch an application. So that's also a really easy place to go to get to the resource hub to start filling out your application.
Great. Okay, so my company has multiple locations in Ohio. When applying for award, am I applying on behalf of just the one location or for all the locations in the state?
It's really up to you. If you want to apply for just a single location, that's completely fine. If you want to capture the efforts from all of your organizations or all of your locations in the state, that's also acceptable. So it's really up to you. When we do a compliance check, we will kind of look at all of your locations. So that is a thing to consider. But yeah, it's really whatever you want to do on that front.
What is the date range for the 2024 application? Like when are those activities supposed to have happened? When we're filling it out, so should it be kind of a time frame for that or what?
So I think in general, like there's not really like a set time frame that we look for. We do kind of like to see like more current information. I think that can be a little more impactful sometimes. Like if you say like I've saved like 100,000 gallons of water just in general, like okay, like is that like for the length of your business, like so we do kind of like to see like more recent data, but we don't have like a set time frame for that. If you're reapplying for an award, we do kind of like to see some continuous improvement there. So maybe it's if you're reapplying, it's good to highlight like what you've done since your last application too. But yeah, there's no real set time frame for the activities you could include in your application.
What about future initiatives that are going to be undertaken? Should those be included in the application as well?
So we do love to see organizations' goals and see what you're working towards. For the sake of scoring the applications, we like to see activities that have already been completed that we have concrete metrics for. So although we love hearing what you're going to be working on, and we think that's really great to see, for the sake of scoring, we like to see activities that have already been completed.
Awesome. Question about previous applicants. So if an applicant has previously been awarded, and let's say they got silver on the last application and they reapply in this round, are they automatically going to get gold? Or let's talk about how that works.
So unfortunately, no. If you've applied in the past at a certain level, that definitely does not guarantee that you'll get a higher level or like any particular level in the future. We review our applications per year on like a kind of standalone basis and score them against each other for the year, since sustainability criteria are so much as we move forward. And so, yeah, since we do evaluate them like kind of on a yearly basis, we don't automatically guarantee that if an applicant applies at one level that they'll be moved to a higher level in the future.
Great. And it looks like we've had a couple questions come in about the compliance checks. I don't want to get into anything specific for these specific questions, but if you want to go over kind of what the compliance checks look like that we do prior to awarding an applicant.
So for the compliance checks, we look back through our records and we check to see if there are any outstanding issues with any of our other programs at Ohio EPA. We usually reach out to the other programs to see if there are any ongoing issues that they know of with the applicants. So like if you have any NOVs or any like impending enforcement or anything like that would be something that we would ask about. We also evaluate if there are any ongoing complaints too, even though that's not a compliance issue per se yet, that could potentially become one. And we just like to make sure that we are recognizing individuals who are at the top of their environmental stewardship games and who have no just outstanding issues with any of our divisions. So we'll usually look a year back for that. Sometimes sometimes some environmental issues go back a little further, but yeah, in general, we do look for our applicants to be in good environmental compliance standing for a year with the different divisions. And if you have like a specific scenario too, like please feel free to reach out if you have any questions.
Yeah, like I said, there were some specific questions, and we will get back to those people that have posted those questions individually and kind of evaluate those questions. Every situation is a little bit different. There's no like one size fits all with the compliance check. So we will get back to those individually in more detail. And thank you for submitting those questions about the compliance checks. Hold on, just kind of looking through here. How many people are accepted each year? Somebody wants to know, is that any cutoffs there?
I can take this one since Rachel's been chatting it up. We do not have a limit to the number of awardees that we will recognize. So anybody and everybody that qualifies for an award will get awarded. So please apply. Even if you start out as an achievement level, we'd love to just get you some recognition and then hopefully get you up to gold level moving forward. So again, no limit to how many individuals, organizations, businesses, schools, et cetera, can apply.
Wonderful. How often can people apply?
On an annual basis. We don't really have like a limit on how soon you can reapply after you've received an award. So if you received recognition in 2024 and you wanted to apply again in 2025, we'd love to see you.
I would just like to add on to that we like to consider our program like the Olympics. And so we love to see how much you've achieved in the previous year if you applied the past year, but we can't guarantee you that you'll get the gold every year. So just make sure that you're continuing to provide a complete and full application every year that you do apply.
Yeah, that's a great point. We do look at them individually. We don't, it's not like an add-on to last year's. It is a full application each year. So kind of treat it as such when you apply. What about like if someone's just unsure of what's going to work, and if they're doing things that maybe this fits and maybe it doesn't, can we kind of help people brainstorm some examples and some ideas?
Absolutely, we'd love to. If you have any questions about what activities might count towards a certain category, yeah, we'd love to help you work through that. Or if you just aren't even really sure where to start at all, we're happy to chat and figure out where what activities your organization's doing would fit within the certain criteria. And even if you want us to come out and do a site visit and take a look and see what we think you're doing that would fit in the different areas, we're happy to do that as well. So we love brainstorming with people. We think it's so fun.
Great. Sorry, I'm just kind of looking through the questions, and we've got so many questions coming in. So thank you all for being so interactive with us. Again, I know we won't get to all these, but I'm kind of trying to pick and choose the ones that make sense to answer out loud so everybody hears. Could somebody ask again? I know we kind of went over the numbers, but if you want to go again, just reiterate what the difference is between the silver and gold levels, and maybe achievement too, just kind of like briefly talk about, the different levels and what it takes to achieve each one.
So I can start for E3. So for the silver level award, you should be doing like roughly 5 of the, score well in roughly 5 of the different areas. And then for gold, that is for 12 of the different criteria. So there's the difference there. As far as things that you get or considered as an award winner, it's really kind of, you get pretty similar items, like you get a certificate and a flag for both still. But yeah, so that's the difference there really. Just like the criteria is a little different, or you have to score a little higher for gold than for silver. Jess, I'm not sure if you want to go ahead and add the spin for E3C and E4 for that.
Yeah, sure. So similarly, each one just requires more projects and initiatives being accomplished. In short, in terms of like what you get recognition wise based on your level, in terms of swag for E4, everybody gets the same swag. You just get maybe a little more bragging rights if you earned a silver award or a gold award. We do make sure we specify what level of achievement you've received when we're doing our news releases and publishing on our website and social media. So you would get that kind of connotation of receiving the gold award if that's what you received. For E3C, the only difference between award levels is gold level awardees will receive that street sign that was on one of the slides that announces that you're a gold level recipient of the award that you can put out in your community. Again, just to provide you a little bit more recognition and kudos for the good work you're doing. And again, similarly to E4, we do include those level titles in all of our publications and press releases, etc. So again, it's mostly just that connotation of, we're a gold level recipient. If you have any questions regarding the specific scoring requirements of what each level requires for E4, E3C, or E3, feel free to reach out to us and we can get you some more information on what our scoring rubric looks like. That's just kind of confusing to go over in a generalized manner.
And kind of building off that, we had another question about, do the awards expire?
Nope, the awards never expire. Once you're an E3 award winner, you're always an E3 award winner. We do like to see you reapply though if you're like looking for replacement flags or things like that. So yeah, you don't ever lose the title, but we do encourage you to reapply.
Back to the draft, we have a question about how we get that draft to everyone, or how they get it to us, I'm sorry. If they want us to review a draft, does it need to be in the template format, or are we able to review what you put in on the online application?
We can take a look at either. That's really fine for us. I think Yeah, so whatever works for you and is easiest will work for us there. I think I might recommend submitting the PDF version to us for review. That could be a little easier. Sometimes there are word limitations for some of the responses in the Word document for the template. So you might have a more accurate application by the time you've gotten it into the online system. So it's probably a little better to submit us that PDF draft, but we'll look at either.
And just to reiterate, when we are reviewing a draft, we do not have access to the application that you've started online. So if you would like your draft reviewed, we need it via email to either Rachel or myself, and we will share it with our scoring group, and we will get you input via email. So again, just want to reiterate that we cannot see the answers that you currently have in your online profile application. So that draft will need to be in the template format.
Awesome. When they're filling out the application, we had a question about images and attachments. Can they add images of the projects when they're filling out an application?
I would say yes, please. We love to see examples of what you're doing, especially if we can include that in future social media or in outreach materials. So yeah, anything that you think helps strengthen your application, we would love to see.
For E4, can students help fill out the application?
Yeah, absolutely. We love for students to be involved both in the projects and in the application process. Obviously, if your students are a little bit younger, they might not be able to input as much, but we do require an adult to fill out the application. The online application does require you to be at least 18 years old. So please make sure somebody that has permission and authority is doing the actual application. But again, feel free to get student input via the template before you go ahead and fill out that online application. You're welcome to share it with all of your students. If you'd like to assign it as their homework to brainstorm on that template, that's totally fine. But again, we do require an adult as the authorizing official on the online application.
And a question here about kind of the timeline once they apply. When do we let people know if they're being awarded? And I'm smiling when I say that because I know we don't have a definite answer, but we can give some ranges.
Yeah, so since the application deadline is April 30th, I think we'd be looking to have decisions made by like the end of May or early June there. So that's kind of what that timeline looks like for letting people know like what level they'd be receiving.
And
then,
also oh, sorry, go ahead.
And then I was going to say, it's not set in stone yet or anything, but last year we did our award ceremony at the start of P2 week, and we haven't really set a date for that this year, but it worked well last year, so I'm thinking we'll probably be looking around that time frame for that recognition event too.
Yeah, that's what I was going to add as well. I know everybody loved our in-person ceremony last year, so just always like to highlight that will be taking place again.
Yeah, I think that was mid-September, like the beginning of September 19th or something, was our last ceremony. So yeah, so that's end of May probably to early June for letting you know what level you got, and then look for an award ceremony around the middle of September probably.
Well, I know we had. Go ahead, Jessica.
I was just going to add on that if your organization, for example, if you're a school, if you're not able to attend that award ceremony, you can still be awarded. We will make sure that we get you all of your swag and proper recognition. So don't feel like you can't apply because you won't be able to attend an in-person ceremony.
Right. Yeah. Obviously, we would love to see you. Love to have you there, but it's not required. Of course. I know we've had some questions about past awardees. I just wanted to point out again that Jessica did post a link to our webpage in the chat. So where you submit the questions, there should have been one coming back from us that would have given you a link to our website. And I think on the website, it lists past awardees. So you can kind of get an idea of who we've awarded in the past. I think that goes back quite a few years. that we've been doing this. You can kind of get an idea of who has been awarded and at what level. I think we have some summaries on there too, so you can get some ideas of what are some things that organizations are doing that get them to those award levels. So our website really is a great tool if you've got any questions about, who and what. But again, obviously reaching out to us is always preferable as well. Happy to talk through that. Let's see. We're slowing down on the questions. While I'm kind of still looking through here, Rachel, do you have anything that you have come up, like anything come to mind that we didn't cover that you guys want to?
Not really. I think there are some of these more specific questions we'll follow up with you individually after the webinar. I don't think, maybe we could reiterate the timeline again. So applications open now. If you want us to take a look at a draft, please try to have that to us by April 15th. But again, the sooner the better for that, so we have time to get you good feedback. The application closes April 30th, and we'll be looking to make award announcements probably like late May or early June. Yeah, I think that's all I can think of right now. Jess, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I'll just reiterate that, again, we're going to reach back out to those of you that we did not get to your question, or if you had a specific question that we didn't answer generally. So don't fret, we won't forget about you. And again, if you have any questions moving forward, Rachel and I are both happy to assist, happy to help brainstorm, happy to meet with you. Anything you need, we're here to help.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, since we only have a few minutes left in our webinar today, I am going to go ahead and move on. Thank you guys so much for your great presentation and for answering everyone's questions. And it was great to see both of your faces. But before we leave today, I want to go over a few of our additional services that you all might be interested in. The Recycling and Sustainability Unit provides free and confidential assistance to help Ohio businesses, communities, and organizations with pollution prevention efforts. Our team can provide on-site or virtual assistance to help identify and evaluate opportunities for reduction in waste, energy and water, and other sustainability initiatives. So feel free to reach out to Rachel if you have any questions about our P2 services. Next, our Ohio Materials Marketplace. There we go. The Ohio Materials Marketplace is a free online platform that allows Ohio's businesses, manufacturers, nonprofits, and other organizations to connect and find reuse and recycling solutions for their waste, byproducts, and surplus materials. Participation on the Materials Marketplace is open to any company or organization with operations in Ohio, and it's non-regulatory. So please reach out to Jessica with questions or assistance requests regarding the Ohio Materials Marketplace. And then once you leave, I mentioned this at the top of the webinar, but once you leave, you'll receive a survey. We value your feedback, and we greatly appreciate if you let us know how we're doing and let us know if there's anything we can do to further assist you. You'll receive a follow-up email as well, approximately an hour after this webinar. There'll be a link to your certificate of attendance and another link to that survey. So you'll actually get 2 opportunities to fill it out. And again, we would greatly appreciate hearing any feedback that you have. Let us know how we did today. And then one last thing before we end for the day, I just wanted to point out a couple other webinars that we do. We usually do a couple webinars a month. So if you're interested, on February 5th, we'll have a webinar on the 2023 Biennial Hazardous Waste Report Training. And then on February 18th, we'll feature the Water Supply Revolving Loan Account Program Year 2025 Updates and Highlights. To register for these, you can click on the link in the PDF version of this PowerPoint, which you can, again, find in the handout section of the user interface. So if you open that, these are hyperlinked to register, as well as any other links that were in the presentation. Those were all hyperlinked in the PDF, so you can go back and click through those. And with that, I am going to end today's webinar. Thank you again for joining us. We really appreciate the participation and interacting with us with all your questions. Again, we will follow up with any that we didn't get to. Thanks again. We look forward to seeing your applications, and have a wonderful day.